All right, race fans, we are back here with Extreme Sim TV, the LSRL Xfinity series here tonight at Texas Motor Speedway. This is the pre-race show. My co-host tonight going to be none other than Rachel Thornhill. Rachel, why don't you say hi to everybody out there?
Hi, everyone. How are you?
All right, so we'll talk a little bit about last week. Uh, we'll let the cameras just kind of do their thing. It's on. You'll catch some stuff going on in the background. Um, First of all, we'll talk about the race that we had last week at Chicagoland. Cameron Hearn ended up pulling the win off in a pretty impressive fashion. He was I actually have brought up the statistics from last week. Unfortunately, I can't share that with you on the screen, but he did win the race by just a little over 6 seconds. I'm sure you can remember calling that race, Rachel. There was a pretty intense battle in the beginning of the race, but Cameron just seemed like he had the speed throughout the entire race, and it kind of ran away with it.
Right. Cameron pretty much dominated that entire race. Um, and there was just something that he figured out with the car that the rest of the field just couldn't do. It was definitely very interesting to see how far he pulled away from everybody else.
And coming across second last week was Josh Thaxton. Josh Thaxton, always a very formidable opponent. Christian Converse, although I'm not that familiar with him, he did show some speed last week. Finished in third. Travis Browder ended up crossing the line in the fifth position. So that was the top five from last week. Uh, the rest of the guys probably, I think they all probably had decent nights point wise in some of their eyes. Other guys definitely had bad nights. If you look at Dylan Gonis and Anthony Giuliano, they
Right.
finished 18th and 19th. So yeah, Rachel, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, no, I was definitely going to say, unfortunately for Dylan Gonis and Anthony Giuliano, it definitely wasn't the type of night they would have wanted. So hopefully tonight, they can definitely um, make up for that.
All right, and as we bring up our point standings, Cameron Hearns had a pretty good start to the season. He sits in the top spot with 370 points. He actually already has a 20-point lead over second place Josh Thaxton. And then it's Christian Converse, and it's kind of interesting because that's how they finished last week. But that's just kind of how I guess, kind of how the point system worked out. And then Andrew Fessenden is in fourth, and Leonard Frost fifth. So Leonard Frost, not a guy that we've talked a lot about. He is out there tonight. I'll go ahead and change the camera. We'll catch a glimpse of Mr. Leonard Frost running in the 161 car there, the Miller Lite Ford. Doing pretty well, sitting in fifth position. What's your take on that early in the season? I'm sure that there's guys that probably are going to need to dig themselves out of holes. But after just a couple races sitting fifth in points, would you feel pretty good about that?
I would say so. Leonard is new to LSRL. He did not run last season. So to come in as a new person, running with people that you're not used to running with, and already at the very beginning of the season, ending up in the top five, I think that's really impressive. There are still quite a few races, but I think as long as he stays consistent with what he's doing right now, he should be able to stay at least within the top five. Um, so
All right. Well, there you have it, folks. Their top five finishers from last week, your top five in the points. Heading into tonight's race here at Texas Motor Speedway, we're going to be doing 100 laps It is a 1.5 mile speedway, so be 150. We're going to call it the Wilder Graphics 150 since Wilder Graphics is the sponsor for this series. Qualifying is about to start. We're going to go ahead and roll our Wilder Graphics commercial, and we'll be right back. All right, and we're back live here. We have just entered qualifying. Let's go ahead and see if we can catch somebody out on the track. It looks like we've got Leonard Frost, Joseph Murata. Joseph Murata coming off the back stretch, coming out of the pits, getting up to speed, going into 3 and 4, Rachel.
Yeah, I'm definitely, I definitely have to say that Joseph Murata has impressed me so far this season. I mean, he did run last season, but he's definitely, been up there towards the front lately. Last season not so much, but he's definitely improved a lot coming into this season.
All right, as he sails it off into turns 3 and 4, going down to that white line, gets a little bit loose, has to get out of the throttle. That's going to hurt his time as he comes across the start-finish line. We'll see where he qualifies. Cameron Hearn taking the top spot. Joseph Murata running just 0.3 of a second slower. Believe that if he had not had to lift, that was probably the 0.3 or more, as Josh Thaxton just put up a 29.8 on the board, so we'll have to wait and see. One of the cars I am interested in jumping to is that of Daniel Smallwood. Daniel Smallwood down right there on the white line, coming to what I believe is going to be the end of his first lap. We'll see where he scores. I imagine he's going to be towards the top. Now, Josh Thaxton ran a faster lap on his second lap, so we'll see if Daniel Smallwood can actually improve on his lap time here. As he gets ready to head her down, throws it down into turn 3 and 4. Almost to the white line. Not quite to the white line, but gets a great run off. He's going to dive it down across the start-finish line, and we'll see if he improves on that time. And he does not. He actually ran an 8.30 in comparison to his 8.16. Meanwhile, the 52 of Charles Grant Jr. Did run a 29.811, but Josh Thaxton on his second lap, as I had mentioned, ran a 29.787. Looking around to see if there's any cars that are going to be popping out there. Looks like we have John Flamion out there right now. He just completed his first lap, scoring him in the 13th position. Gets a good run down there on the white line. We'll see if he can improve that time. See if it was just a warm-up lap. We'll see if his time improves. He does improve, but only by a couple of tenths. That moves him from 13th up to 12th, and we have just about a minute of qualifying time remaining now. Michael Jeans looks like he's gonna try to get a lap in here as he runs the high line in the first lap, it looks like, or trying to get speed coming to one or the other. As he crosses the line, I believe for the start of his, no, that was his first lap. So this is his second lap, last attempt, excuse me. He ran a 31.181. Michael Jeans knows how to qualify. I believe he was intentionally doing something on that first lap to get speed and not burn up the tires, and push very hard on the second lap here. We'll see as he comes to the line where he is scored. He jumps himself up to the 6th position. He was able to run a 29.894 as qualifying is going to be coming to a close here. We'll get the grid started and we'll give you the qualifying order here shortly. Alrighty, as soon as these drivers get a few more out on pit road, we're going to put the camera on them, and then we're going to run through the starting grid. I'm going to have Rachel do the grid. Give me a moment, Rachel, and I'll let you know when to go.
Sure, that's fine.
Just waiting for a couple more guys to grid up so I can get the cameras on them. Alright, looks like the majority of the guys are out there right now, so alright, you go ahead and start us off. I got the grid up and I'll go ahead and talk, or I'll go through the grid as you're talking through it.
All right. Well, your pole sitter for tonight is Josh Thaxton. Running in second is Charles Grant Jr. Third is Daniel Smallwood. Fourth is Cameron Hearn. Fifth is Christian Converse. Sixth, Michael Jeans. Seventh is Brandon Murray. Eighth is Andrew Fesden. Ninth is Dylan Gones. 10th is Craig Goodenough. Running in 11th is Brandon Thornhill. 12th is Joseph Murata. 13th is John Flamian. 14th, Aaron Hearn. 15th, Travis Browder. 16th, Anthony Giuliano. 17th, Leonard Frost. 18th, John K. Woolham, and 19th, Kelly Butler.
Excuse me. All right, that'll be your starting grid for this evening. Excuse me. Give me 1 second here. All right, and we're back. We're going to be going green flag racing here just very shortly. Josh Thaxton, we talked about him in the points. Talked about him finishing second last week, starting out on the pole. This looks like might be a good track for that Mr. Josh Thaxton.
I'm definitely interested in seeing what Thaxton does. Like I mentioned in the past, he's known for, his pit strategies, and he's known for, especially in these Xfinity cars, that this is what he likes to run. He's pretty consistent at being towards the front. So I'm definitely interested to see what his night ends up being like.
All right, pace car ducks on down. We're about to go green flag here at Texas Motor Speedway. Loud pedal goes down on the number 12, going away. Gets a nice little jump. He's getting a little. No, I thought the 88 was actually on his bumper, but he's not. 88 of Daniel Smallwood. Yep, Daniel Smallwood getting a good jump. Gets right in line there with Josh Thaxton. Looks like he might take a look to the inside.
Yeah, he did get on the inside of Thaxton, but then he kind of slowed up a little bit. So now he's ducking down behind Thaxton at the moment.
Well, sometimes short runs, when you look at short runs and you look at long runs, there can be a big disparity between the two. So we'll see if Josh Thaxton is just good on the short run or if he's good as well on the long run.
And then also, we definitely have to look out for Smallwood because Charles Grant is right behind him, and that is his teammate. So they tend to work together a lot on these speedways. So I would definitely look out for those two because they will definitely tag team most of the night.
Yeah, as we see a challenge for the lead right now. Daniel Smallwood making his way down there on the bottom, gets in front of Josh Thaxton and brings the number 52 of Charles Grant Jr. with him. The number 67 of Cameron Hearn sneaking up on the back of the 12 as well. I believe this is probably just smart racing by the number 12. I don't think he's in trouble by any means. I think he's intentionally taking care of the car as we have a caution.
And unfortunately, I did not see where that caution happened.
All right, I think it might have something to do with the 27 car. I'm not positive. No, does not look like it. All right, well, that's strange enough. I'm not seeing anybody that's involved in this. I just kind of went through the field and I don't see anybody involved. So, not sure what the caution was for, unfortunately, folks. But yeah, we had a caution flag. Usually, I can figure it out. If Rachel can find it, we can go back and take a look at it. In the meantime, we'll be right back.
Okay.
All right, and we are back live here at Texas Motor Speedway. We're going to go ahead and see if we can snag one of the drivers out there in the field. I'm going to bring up Mr. Dylan Gonis. Mr. Gonis, this is Ron and Rachel in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, what's going on?
Oh, you know. Let me get an oh, you know from you.
Oh, you know.
Yeah, love it, love it. So, talk to us, Mr. Gonis. How's the race going so far? I know we're only a few laps into it, but we're taking a look at that beautiful number 27 as it goes by the camera here. And talk to us real quick about the start of this race.
Don't know much about this track. It's weird. Like 1 and 2, you gotta let off early, and you almost got a trail break. Whereas 3 and 4, it seems like you can open her up a lot more, and you don't have to trail break or anything. Like qualifying, you can damn near take it wide open. Yeah, I don't know much about this track. I'm not the quickest guy, so I'm just kind of hanging out with the guys that know what they're doing, and maybe I'll learn something.
I think there was a song, it was a duet, went something like, I don't know much, but I know I love you. Is that kind of like your feeling on the track tonight? I don't know much, but I know I love you.
Oh yeah, especially when I'm following that Michael Jeans there, right?
All right. Well, Rachel, you got any comments or questions for Mr. Gonis before we let him go?
No questions, but definitely good luck, Billy. I know last week was kind of an off night for you, but I'm hoping that tonight will be, a good night for you.
I learn a little bit each race, so I'll get there.
All right. Well, that was Mr. Dylan Gonis driving the number 27 Toyota not Camry Supra this year. Good luck to you, Mr. Gonis. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
All right. I got to imagine the boys are going to be lining up, boys and girls possibly. The drivers are going to be lining up here, double file here shortly. One thing I did notice, Cameron Hearn did come down pit road. You probably saw that while we went to the caution screen. So that will put Cameron all the way back to looks like 14th position as we look back to where he's at right now. So Cameron Hearn went from, I believe, 4th position, gave up 4th position, went out there, got himself some new tires, maybe a little splash of fuel, and is back out and now running in the officially showing the 13th position.
Right. Cameron Hearn came down. Also, Joseph Murata. It looked like he came down as well. And Leonard Frost came down also, from what it's showing.
Well, it's a little bit early in the race, but here's what we're going to do. We're going to go on board with Josh Thaxton, who's sitting right behind the leader. And then for basically a lap, we are going to basically be silent here in the booth, and we're going to turn the speaker up a little bit. I'm going to do what they call the old crank it up. All right, they're getting ready to... Pace car's about to drop off. They're going to go green here and waiting. There's the green flag. Always a bit interesting to get those different angles on the track as we see Josh Thaxton settling into 3rd position. Well, Rachel, a person we're both kind of familiar with, Daniel Smallwood, out in front, leading the race, but under heavy fire from the number 52. Definitely not a driver that I am all that familiar with, Charles Grant.
Yeah, Charles Grant, he ran with LSRL last year. He didn't run the whole time. He only ran, part of the schedule. But as I mentioned earlier, he is Daniel Smallwood's teammate. And they definitely team tag for a tag team for a little while, but then then it starts to get personal and they start to go head to head. So
as we see that, we have a change for the lead out on the track as the number 52 takes that top spot. Kind of impressive to see the 52 just take that very easily.
if Smallwood kind of just let him have it, um, with that being his teammate. Sometimes, so that's what I'm wondering if he's just kind of laying back.
Always a possibility. You never know. Josh Thaxton getting a good run into the corner, closing down on Daniel Smallwood just a little bit there. The 52 pulling away ever so slightly, about a half a second. As we bring up the driver bar, you can see in front and behind the telemetry. It's starting to become kind of a closer race for first through fifth. As we look at second place on the screen right now and we go through.
And just as you said that, Thaxton's trying to drop to the inside of Smallwood, but he's just not getting the run that he needs.
Now, Texas, for me, when they redid this, it's a bit trickier track. There's something that you really have to figure out to run this and be fast. We ran 125 laps a few weeks ago, and I obviously do not have the track figured out because I hate to say it, but I actually got lapped. We went 125 laps, green flag, and I just, you're running 30-second laps, and when you're just a little bit off, it's just like in real NASCAR, you can get lapped, and it looks like these guys out front, they've got it figured out. We're going to walk through the field here real quick. I'll let you go ahead and start from the front, and I will be pointing the cameras at those cars.
Okay, so currently we have Charles Grant Jr. In the lead, and then you have Daniel Smallwood behind him in second. Brandon Murray just moved up into the third position, and you have Josh Thaxton in fourth, Dylan Goness in fifth. Oh, and we have a caution that just came out.
All right, and we'll stop that, and we'll see who's fallen in the standings. Looks like Cameron Hearn is falling. That is the man who is backwards on the track, so I'm going to back it up here. And we're going to watch as they go down into turn one. Oh, wow. We had a 3-car incident. We're going to roll it back just a little bit further. And you guys can see it as I'm doing the slow motion in reverse. We'll jump forward to Michael Jeans. Michael Jeans looks like he may have gotten a little bit of help. Don't really know for sure, but what I can tell you is the 08, the 17, and the 67, unfortunately, we're all involved in that. As we go back to our leaders, looks like we're going to have pit stop starting here. Nope. Got the old fake. So no one up front. We'll kind of take a look at towards the back and see who goes down. We have the 161 and the 17 on pit road.
And from what it looks like, and the chat, Andrew has mentioned that he was the previous caution, I believe the first caution. He said that he was the one that brought out that caution. So.
He must have had the issue and then departed. That would make sense, actually. So, yep. I see it on the standings. I just didn't catch it, unfortunately. So, we're watching. Looks like Anthony Giuliano is trying to get his car repaired. That's why he is still sitting on pit road. Leaders are on the backstretch. Cameron Hearn may have gone a lap down. Kind of strange because I would have thought that I would not have thought that he would have gone a lap down or somehow he's stuck behind the pace car, so he's gonna have to wait to get the wave around to go back, which is gonna hurt his chances because he was in that accident and probably took some damage. So
Right, and unfortunately, there are no fast repairs. So if they have to sit there for, for to fix damage, they definitely have the possibility of going laps down.
Definitely hurt some drivers, probably help some other drivers. I guess that's generically speaking how cautions work. They're still under caution. The pace lights are still on. So with that, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. All right, we are back here live at Texas Motor Speedway. We are on lap 21 of 100 with the LSRL Xfinity series. We've had a couple of lead changes, just two. Daniel Smallwood took the lead from Josh Thaxton, and then the number 52, Charles Grant, took the lead from him. To my knowledge, they're all still on the same tires. Pace car ducks off. 52 wastes no time, gets on that loud pedal. Away we go.
Right, and Smallwood is trying to get as close to him as possible. Brandon Murray was right next to Smallwood, but I'm not sure. Somehow he didn't get the takeoff he wanted, because he ended up falling back.
Usually teammates are able to communicate a little bit in the old iRacing sim world, so there's probably a little bit of communication going on between the two of those guys, and they probably timed that just perfectly as we have a battle shaping up for third. The number 12, Josh Thaxton, down on the inside of Brandon Murray. Brandon Murray not going to put much of a fight up right now. Lets Thaxton go on by. Gives up that spot pretty easily. And there's also a little battle shaping up behind them as Dylan Gonis going to the outside of Travis Browder. Or Travis Browder may be going to the inside of Dylan Gonis. Not sure which one it is right now because I didn't see who was where. Looks like Travis Browder getting a little bit better run off as we see the 27 just inches into the wall. Gets a little bit of damage from that. I'm sure that is probably not extreme damage, but it is probably going to slow him down because speed and aerodynamics do matter here.
Right, and then he also has the number 68 of Brandon Thornhill right behind him too.
Brandon Thornhill making his way on up as we see Travis Browder making another move, getting by the number 90 car of Christian Converse. Christian Converse ran very well last week, finished in the 3rd position. Travis Browder, if we talked a little bit last week, Travis Browder, he's kind of been a hit or miss driver here in the last 12 months or so. Very fast, but I think he's still struggling to find that little bit.
Yeah, and then sometimes Browder does get caught up in some cautions, and unfortunately, that's just how it is in racing. And so, I think between what happened last week and this week, he's definitely making some moves, and I think he has the potential of having a really good night tonight.
As we're watching, Josh Thaxton makes his move, passes Daniel Smallwood. That's going to move him on up to 2nd position behind the number 52. Seems like he's closing in on the number 52 right now. Josh Thaxton may be the fastest car out there on this lap. Last lap it was the 52 of Charles Grant. I'm sorry, he actually was not. Josh Thaxton had about a half a second on him that last lap. We'll see as we get the updated timing and scoring. About dead even on this last lap they just ran. So a little bit of changing going on. Cameron Hearn out there in 11th position after starting at the tail of the field. He's found his way from 15th up to 11th. Just a couple spots in front of him. The other car, one of the other cars that was involved, Anthony Giuliano, making a move around the outside of the 91 or battling on the outside with the 91, one or the other. Unfortunately, the 08 of Michael Jeans has taken it to the garage, so he will be done for the night. 17 now slipping back. Cameron Hearn trying to make a move on the inside of him. These guys are going to be battling it out. Cameron Hearn makes a nice move, kind of does a little bit of a slide job. He'll go to work on the 91 as we check back up with the leaders. The 52 still looking very strong. Now starting to open up a little bit more of a gap. Josh Thaxton had something there. Either he was driving a little bit harder or he found something. Sometimes that happens too, Rich. I'm sure you've noticed that. Sometimes a driver in front or behind a car that's faster can catch on to something, what the other driver's doing, and take that away from them.
Yeah, no, that does happen sometimes. And then also, while we were actually talking, the 67 of Cameron Hearn actually got around Aaron Hearn in the 91, but Aaron Hearn is catching back up to him.
As we roll our cameras back to Cameron Hearn, we do see that Anthony Giuliano also able to get around the 161 and the 91. That's going to put Cameron and Anthony now just cracking the top 10. We look forward. We'll just keep moving forward from there. You got Brandon Thornhill in the 8th position. Just in front of him, Dylan Gonis is running in the 7th position, already 4 seconds back from the leader. Christian Converse running in a nice little 3-car group with Travis Browder and Brandon Murray. But Travis Browder may make an attempt to do a pass here, maybe setting Murray up as he tries to cross over, but can't get there, can't do it, has to get out of the throttle. Murray forcing him down there, making it very hard for him to get a run down there. Wow, some really hard driving between these two drivers right now. I'm not sure if you're catching this on your end or not.
Yes, I'm definitely seeing it. The battle between Murray and Browder. Honestly, I mean, it's still kind of early in the race. I just hope that they're not burning their tires up while, racing this hard. So
I would agree with you on that. As Travis Browder gets into the wall, goes down, hits the inside wall. Unfortunately, oh no. So that's going to bring out a caution. We'll go ahead and replay that. We're going to focus on the 18 car, Travis Browder. We're going to go and you can watch this unfold. He gets in the outside wall, puts him down on the inside, bounces off, gets into the 68 of Brandon Thornhill, and unfortunately the 18 has already taken it to the hauler. As we look at the 68 car at some point here, I'm sure he'll be down pit road. We'll take a look at the front of his car is completely destroyed. Very, very unfortunate for Brandon Thornhill, an innocent bystander, just kind of running, doing his own thing, and got caught up in someone else's, well, mess, to be honest.
Right. I mean, unfortunately, that's what it is. And with him not having a front end, you know, that can really hurt him, especially since they don't have fast repairs. So depending on how much damage he has and how long it's going to keep him on pit road, you know, that could really ruin, you know, his night tonight.
I'm sure Brandon will probably go in, sit there, get his repair done, and just try to come out and gather as many points as he can. There has been, we started with 19 cars. Only 18 took the checkered flag, but there are now currently 5 cars out of the race, so that, you know, that potentially will put Brandon Thornhill in the position to finish 15th at the bare minimum. If there's any more problems, he could obviously move up. So I expect to see him sit there, get it fully repaired, and come back out.
Yeah, he's definitely consistent when it comes to that. You know, he probably won't park it. He'll just go out there and run laps just to, you know, just to keep up with the points. So.
All right, and that's going to take us to another commercial break. We'll be back here momentarily. All right, and we are back here live with the LSRL Xfinity series here at Texas Motor Speedway. We just had another incident. While we were at caution, you may have seen the number 90 of Christian Converse go down pit road. I really don't know what happened, but we saw him come off pit road, stop, tow back to the pit road, and then looks like he has parked the car in the garage. So unfortunately, the 90 is now out of the race, which helps Brandon Thornhill, like we had talked about it. As long as he, gets back out there and is racing, it's going to benefit him. So there's another position just for whatever reason.
Right. I mean, I didn't see from Christian's car, it didn't seem like he had any damage, like as if he had been in, in one of the incidents. So I'm not sure what could have happened. But unfortunately, this ends his night.
Brandon Thornhill and Joseph Murata sitting on pit road as we get ready to come back to the green flag. We'll go ahead and let you call this one.
Okay. Currently we have Daniel Smallwood and Josh Thaxton in the first row. Daniel Smallwood gets a good run, leaving Thaxton to battle it out with Charles Grant on his inside.
And Grant does clear Thaxton going down into the corner. That will move him into the second position. As Brandon Murray looked like he got a little bit loose coming off that corner. Everybody kind of getting a little bit squirrely.
Yeah, unfortunately, Dylan Gonez made contact with the wall just now as well.
A lot going on around this racetrack. Daniel Smallwood leading at 40 of 100 laps, so we're not quite halfway there. We've had 4 lead changes now, a couple of incidents. We have, looks like about 13 or 14 cars out there, and we're going to see, I think we're going to see who's got the best car now and who can do the long run. I think we're probably done with cautions unless there's something silly that happens. I just got a gut feeling that we're probably going to go green from here.
I think so. They're starting to get spread out. And also, I did see where Dylan Gonez did go down to pit road. He's on pit road right now. I'm guessing to try and fix some of that damage when he hit the wall. But yeah, I think as long as they don't get too aggressive, I think we'll see some clean like green runs. But as we're talking about this, we just had Thaxton go to the inside of Charles Grant, trying to get a run on him.
Indeed he does, and he moves himself up into that second position. Looks like Thaxton's on a mission right now as he pulls almost dead even. He does pull dead even with the 88 of Daniel Smallwood, rocks it down into corner number 1, keeps it down there by the white line, and nice drive off. Thaxton may have found something, or maybe pushing a little bit harder than he was earlier in the race.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely seems like he's trying to push a little bit harder, trying to just get out there to the front. And maybe, depending on how far he can separate himself from Smallwood and Grant, he might start backing off a little bit, saving his tires a little bit more. But he might have really pushed his tires just to get around those two.
Let's talk real quick about the number 17 in the Monster Energy Chevrolet Camaro involved in that incident that stemmed from Michael Jeans himself and Cameron Hearn. Cameron Hearn found his way up to 4th position now with a little bit of damage. Probably got that damage fixed in, during those 2 cautions, especially that last one. I think he took a wave around on the one prior. Probably went in and got some damage fixed, if he even had any. I don't know. But Anthony, you can physically see the damage on the back of his car as we go do a rear chase, and you can see the damage on his spoiler. Doing a very good job up there in 5th. We'll see if it's the tires that's holding him up there, or if the car is just not damaged bad enough to keep him from being competitive.
Right. I'm not sure how much damage he had. If he ended up repairing some of the damage, and that's all he pretty much has left is just that, that back spoiler that's messed up. But I mean, to say that he started out in the 16th position and he's moved to the top 5 is extremely impressive.
All right, as we kind of do a pit road update here, Joseph Murata has come back out on the track. Looks like he is not quite up to speed, takes it back down the white line. I think he's just doing it to get away from the leaders, make sure the leaders have a good clean line. We check back on Brandon Thornhill. He's still sitting there. Dylan Gonas, and we have the 124 now on pit road. So something happened with the 124. He has no front end, and he is back on pit road. We go back up front. Josh Thaxton still your leader currently. Charles Grant in second, just about a 3/10 of a second as we bring up the screen here. Then you've got Daniel Smallwood in third. Cameron Hearn really impressed. He got virtually no damage and got as lucky as a boy could be, or he's just out driving the damage. I don't see a lot of damage on his car. I think he got very lucky and probably just got minimal scraping or a little bump, and no major damage.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. He probably just didn't have a lot of damage. But, I mean, just based off of the race from last week, I mean, we can tell that Cameron Hearn is just a really great driver. And, I mean, he is in the 4th position right now, but I wouldn't count him out as one of the competitors for tonight. I think he can definitely make it to the front. He might be holding back, and he might not really be driving it that hard right now.
As we just crossed the halfway point of the race, your race leader, Josh Thaxton, has been out there leading for the last 10 laps or so, I believe. Yeah, I think we went back green about lap 40, so the last 10 laps, he has been your leader. It seems like the 52 has fallen back just a little bit, maybe saving his tires, or maybe just not. Maybe Josh Thaxton has just figured something out. This track is definitely one of those tracks where you can figure something out and not burn your tires up and just flat out be faster.
And Josh Thaxton, he's known for that. He's known for being very technical, really strategizing when it comes to like pit strategy, tires. He's just one of those types of people. So it could be a strategy that he's pulling right now, where he's just able to be out there and maybe he's not burning his tires up or anything like that. So I mean, we'll have to see how the rest of the race plays out, but it could be one of his strategies that he's doing.
As we look at your top 5 at the top of your screen there, you can see Josh Thaxton is pulling away. You can see that visually. I don't even need to have the driver bar up, but I will bring it up. He has pulled out to a 1.1 second lead. So either Josh Thaxton has figured something out, or he just decided, you know what, I'm going to run it as hard as I can until it bites me.
Hopefully he's not doing the second one, because these other guys could definitely catch up to him if he does burn his tires. So hopefully he's figured something out and he's able to still sort of conserve his tires.
I think it is the former, not the latter, because I'm watching him go into turn 1 and he's getting the car slowed down and he's getting down on that line. Sometimes that can be a detriment to your tires, but I think because of the way that he is doing it, it is actually saving his tires. As Cameron Hearn just got that car sideways coming off turn 4.
Yeah, he was trying to make sure that he didn't get into Joseph Murata. Murata moved up to the high side just so he wouldn't be in their way, and I think Cameron Hearn just barely missed him.
I was very impressed, still am impressed with the 17's ability to be out there and running with that damage, but I do think that that damage is now coming to show its head as he has fallen off to about 4 seconds back, while the group of cars that he was running with Cameron Hearn and those, Daniel Smallwood, they're only just a couple seconds back from the leader at this point. So I think the damage on the 17 car is starting to show. I also noticed that Brandon Murray has, as you can see in the shot right there, has a little bit of damage on his right rear to that spoiler. I'm sure that's going to affect his speed a little bit. Not sure exactly where he picked that up, where he picked that damage up, but note that Brandon Murray has picked up some damage, and that's put him about 6 seconds back from the leader. Now that's going to be pretty tough to make up with no speed in the car.
Right. I mean, the only thing that I think could get Murray up to the front is if for some reason there ends up being another caution. That would be my only guess for him to be able to make up that time.
Yeah, caution with just a couple laps to go, where tires and car, where the tires matter more than the car. He might be able to do something there. But again, as I said before, I kind of thought that we would go and stay green. I don't know if we will for sure or not, but it kind of feels like it's that way. People are getting spread out. The only way that we would probably have a caution is if these three that we're watching right here, and it could happen to anybody else in the field, don't get me wrong, but the three cars that I'm watching, the 52, the 88, and the 67, if something happened between them, because the 12 car is starting to check out. He is now 1.8 seconds in front of the 52. I don't think it's a tire thing. I think it's a, hey, I figured this out. I figured out how to get more speed out of this car.
Right. I think Thaxton figured out something that the rest of them haven't. But like you mentioned, the only cars that we could possibly see maybe something happening would be between the 52, the 88, and the 67, since they're the ones that are running the closest to each other. Everybody else is pretty much spread out towards the back. Because like you mentioned, Anthony Giuliano in the 17, he would be the only other person back there. But I mean, he's more than 6 seconds behind the leader. So
looks like Aaron Hearn has slowly started to reel the 13 in. Within maybe a few laps, we may see a battle develop there for the sixth position. Actually, Brandon Murray currently being scored in 6th position. And unfortunately, this is just us up here talking for everybody that's out there. We're not talking bad or anything, but it's a great night when you have a car that's damaged and you can be in 6th position. So if you're Brandon Murray, you kind of counting your blessings that, well, I got damaged and I'm not as fast as I want to be, but I could potentially walk away with a 6th place finish. That'd be a huge night for points.
right. I mean, he's definitely able to keep it up there. To say that he does have damage. From what it looks like with Aaron Hearn, it doesn't look like he has any damage on his car. So I'm definitely interested to see if he does get up there to closer to Murray. If he'll be able to just easily go around Murray or not, since he doesn't have any damage.
You see Dylan Gonis coming back out onto the racetrack. He's down there on the exit to pit road, as well as Brandon Thornhill. Brandon Thornhill now has rejoined the race, currently sitting 27 laps down to the leader, but this is all about points for Brandon. So Dylan is 24 laps down, Joseph is 25 laps down, and Kelly Butler, sitting on pit road, is currently 20 laps down. So the night is not over for Brandon Thornhill. This is kind of crazy to say, but if Brandon actually has enough speed to get to, to the end without incident, he could potentially end up in 10th place. That goes for Joseph Murata, Dylan Gonas, or Brandon Thornhill. It'll all just depend on who's faster. We can actually look at lap times, and I can tell you that Dylan Gonas just ran a 31.293. Joseph Murata ran a 33.799, and Brandon Thornhill ran a 31.666. So there's still some speed there. They're actually running. I know they probably have newer tires because they just came out on the racetrack. They're actually running faster than the leaders at this point. Not that it's really going to make a big difference to them. They just won't go additional laps down at this point. But Brandon Thornhill kind of needs a little bit of help to get a couple more laps if he's going to go ahead and overtake Joseph Murata or Dylan Gonas. As we look at the 124 still sitting on pit road within just a couple laps, he's going to start to fall a few positions.
Right, and then the only other person that is that's currently a lap down is Craig Goodenough, the number 89. So other than that, the top 8 are all on the lead lap. So 9 on back are laps down.
We take a look now at that pack of 3 that we were watching earlier. Cameron Hearn has made his way from 4th to 2nd while we were talking about other drivers and situations and whatnot that were going on out on the racetrack. Cameron Hearn running in 2nd position, got past the 52 car of Charles Grant and the 88 of Daniel Smallwood. Daniel Smallwood now in 3rd. He has gotten past his teammate in the 52 car. So Charles Grant fast early, but starting to kind of fall off as the run goes on here.
Yeah, but I'm also wondering if Charles Grant is kind of holding back a little bit. I know that tends to happen sometimes when it's him and Smallwood towards the front, and then they'll battle it out a lot closer to the end of the race. We've seen that before in some LSRL races last season. So that could be...
Cameron Hearn gets the wall. He's on the grass. Keeps it straight. He'll come back through the grass. He's going to probably... Oh, no. He hit that cone. I don't know for sure, but that may get him a penalty. We'll watch. We'll stay on board. We'll keep the cameras pointed at Cameron Hearn. See if he has to make a pit stop for a pit road violation. We're not seeing him come this time, so I don't think that he must not have gotten it. Usually when you hit those cones, of course it was at the very exit, so maybe he's okay. I don't know. As we see Brandon Thornhill pull right up beside him and probably gonna pass him going into turns 3 and 4 here. Brandon Thornhill on much newer tires as he also passes Joseph Murata. That is gonna put Joseph, and there comes Cameron Hearn right now. I don't know if this is a scheduled stop because of fuel or if he's serving a penalty. We'll keep the camera on him just to see. He may have done this. This may be a strategy move because he did have, a slip up and got the car sideways. We'll wait and see if he has to stop and hold or if he's getting tires. Right now he's getting right side tires. Left side tires, and we'll see if there's a holding penalty as well. It looks like he does. To me, it looks like he has a holding penalty. He is not moving. Car is down off the jack, so probably a 15-second penalty, at least, maybe more. See, possibly. Wow, he is still on pit road. We're going to check on the leader, Josh Thaxton. He's now out in front by 3.4 seconds. Going back to Cameron Hearn just to check and see. He is still on pit road as Anthony Giuliano comes in. I think he did a pit stop. He has dropped 1 lap down because of it. I'm pretty sure that was an intended pit stop.
You also have the 91 of Aaron Hearn that just came in onto pit road as well.
All right, so this is the fuel stop. The 91 missed his box, unfortunately, having troubles getting in. He finally gets to where he needs to be. So we're going to see pit stops coming up here shortly. I would think shortly from the leaders. Josh Thaxton out to a 3.4 second lead over Daniel Smallwood, looking really good. I think that. Yep, Brandon Murray is now on pit road.
Leonard Frost is as well. So it's just Thaxton, Smallwood, and Grant that are out there.
I am not sure what happened with Cameron Hearn, folks, but he is still on pit road with his wheels turned all the way to the left. I don't know if he was disqualified or if he just, because of the situation, he got unhappy. But here comes the leader down pit road, number 12, Josh Thaxton down pit road for his final pit stop on lap 77. They'll cross the line. He'll cross the line, actually, making it lap 78. So 23 laps to go. I know it says 100, but they actually have to complete the lap, so it actually counts. They actually, all 3 leaders, so to speak, the top 3, all pitted on at the same time. As I saw them all come into the frame here. We'll see Josh Thaxton get out. He'll go. Jack is down. We'll look at Charles Grant and Smallwood. Both have good pit stops, but Grant gets a better pit stop, comes out in front of Smallwood. Cameron Hearn has now taken it to the garage, Rachel.
And that's very unfortunate. Cameron Hearn, I mean, obviously he had a good run tonight, and unfortunately he's having to take it to the garage. And we still don't know exactly why, if it has to do with damage or what, but...
Sometimes it's frustration. Yeah. I didn't mean to cut you off there, but sometimes it's just sheer frustration. So a lot of things happening. Dylan Gonis is now in the 10th position. Kelly Butler is 23 laps down, back out on the racetrack. So Dylan was able to get around him and take over that 10th place. Cameron, 7 laps down. We have 20 to go. That will put him 27 laps down. So as long as Brandon Thornhill does not get lapped again, he'll actually move all the way up in front of Cameron Hearn. But first, he's going to have to do some driving and hopefully not have to pit again.
Right, and I'm not sure when he actually pitted last. So
you can actually go on your screen there and click on him and then click on laps and go to the race part, and you can scroll through and find when he basically came out and started making like 30-second laps. That would indicate that he came out on that lap. And while she may be doing that, not sure if she's going to do it or not, we're going to run through the field one more time. Josh Thaxton out in front, in command right now. He has a 4.5 second lead over that car right there, the number 52, getting by the 27, who is multiple laps down. Daniel Smallwood sitting in the 3rd position. You can see the gap there, 5.116 seconds. Anthony Giuliano, after that early damage, has himself up into 4th position. Brandon Murray is running 5th. He's 14 seconds back. And the last car on the lead lap is the number 91 of Aaron Hearn, in danger here shortly to go a lap down as we look where he is relative to where Josh Thaxton is. You're going to see probably Josh Thaxton making a move and possibly putting the 91 lap down, as I just happened to catch the 68 going down pit road. So Brandon Thornhill going to come down. I think he's making his final pit stop. And jumping back to where we were, Leonard Frost running in 7th position, 1 lap down. Craig Goodenough running in the 8th position, 2 laps down. Currently being scored, Cameron Hearn in the 9th position, but he is off the track. Dylan Gonis running in 10th, 23 laps down as he gets ready to bring it down pit road. Kelly Butler back out on track. He is 24 laps down. Brandon Thornhill on pit road getting service. He'll be back out. He's currently being scored 28 laps down. And the number 5 of Joseph Murata being scored in the 13th position, 32 laps down. The big story now is, can the number 52 car or the 88 car of Daniel Smallwood get out there and run Josh Thaxton down? They were 5 seconds back. They have cut that down to 4.2 seconds.
That I'm not sure. It seems like Josh Thaxton has just checked out for as of right now. I think the biggest thing is if Thaxton can, if Thaxton starts wearing down his tires or something to where, his lap times start slowing down, that would probably be the main way for them to catch up with him.
I got to tell you, with 14 laps to go, I just don't see it happening. That would be about 0.4 per second. Not saying that it can't happen, but last lap, Josh Thaxton run a 30.723 and Charles Grant ran a 30.6. So there is a little bit of difference there in time per lap, but that last lap they just put down almost identical lap time, so no real change. You can watch it up there at the top of the screen. You'll see that Josh Thaxton is holding a pretty consistent 4-second lead over Grant. The battle, to me, in my eyes, would be between Smallwood and Grant, with Smallwood just under about 0.7 of a second behind. So we'll see if Smallwood has anything for him. Everybody else is kind of separated. Dylan Gonis, Kelly Butler, they're about a half track apart. So I don't see Dylan Gonis catching him in time. Looking at your leader, Josh Thaxton, I got to hand it to him in the second half of this race. He came on strong, and he has dominated this race, kind of like we saw at the last week. When we saw the dominant performance last week, 6-second advantage over second place. I think we're going to see close to that tonight, because Josh Thaxton's actually opening up that gap now. It was down to 4 seconds, almost flat. It is now back up to 4.6 with 11 laps to go.
Right, he's starting to get closer to that gap that Cameron Hearn had last week, and it was between himself and Cameron Hearn, because Josh Thaxton was in second last week.
I'm going to switch the cameras over to Grant and Smallwood, because they are almost nose to tail here. Looks like Smallwood may have saved his tires and is going to make a run on the 52. Not going to be able to do it this lap.
It looks like Smallwood's trying to get to the inside of him if he can get enough of a run.
52 gets loose. The 88 gets a good run on the outside. We're going to see him dive it down low here into 3. Got no problem making it stick. He's going to drive right by the 52. 52 tries to make kind of a crossover move back. There is going to be a little bit of aerodynamic benefit to being behind, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I think Daniel Smallwood's got better tires, a better drive off right here. We'll see if he starts to open it up or not. Oh, here we go again. They're going to swap back and forth here. The 52 dives to the inside of the 88. 88's going to keep him honest, holding him down to the bottom. They're going to be dead even coming off turn 4. 52 with the slight advantage at the line. If we were to end there, it would have gone to the 52, but that is not the case. We still have 7 laps to go. These boys are starting to really turn up the heat here. I would almost expect that Smallwood would have kind of backed off a little bit and allowed the 52 to go instead of running side by side with him. That was not the case. He does fall back a little bit now. We'll see if he lets his tires kind of cool off and try to make a run and get him here with just a couple laps to go.
Smallwood did get a little loose on that last turn, so I think that was part of the reason why Grant was able to get around him and kind of have a gap on him as well.
We just have about 5 laps to go here shortly. Leader's going to cross the line. We're going to have 5 laps to go. Or maybe 6 laps. There it is. 5 laps to go. Thanks for updating there. Meanwhile, I think Thaxton is either he's just kind of taking it easy, or these boys, the 52 and the 88, are just driving as hard as they can, because there's really no change in the times. It's been right around the 5-second mark. So Thaxton with a good 5-second lead. I think he's just probably taking it easy out there.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Thaxton's really pushing his car very much. He did get close to, that was Kelly Butler that he had passed. So now he's going to start getting into some lap traffic.
As there might actually be some lap traffic that second place car of Charles Grant and the 88 of Daniel Smallwood may have to deal with before it's over here. Smallwood made up a lot of ground there coming through 3 and 4. We'll see with just 3 laps to go. This is the best battle on the track, folks. Josh Thaxton will try to get to him as the 91 actually just pulls up out of the way, lets these guys have at it, making sure that he has no effect on the outcome of this race. Now, this kind of changes things a little bit, because that affected their line going into 3 and 4. Smallwood definitely faster through the center of the corner with just about 2 laps to go. This is going to be probably the whatever happens here on either this lap or obviously the last lap is going to determine who's going to finish second and who's going to finish third. But the tires are pretty well worn on these cars. Do you think he's got enough to get around him?
I think the only way that he'll be able to get around him is if, like you mentioned, if he really burns his tires up or gets loose going into one of the corners. I think that's the only way that that would change this position. Where Smallwood would get around him. Yeah,
I think Smallwood may have messed up just a little bit there. Thaxton is going to be your winner. We'll go ahead and show you that. But I really want to watch this battle through 3 and 4. It looked like Smallwood might have got to the left rear quarter of the 52. Tried to move him up a little bit. Did not happen. Josh Thaxton crossing the line, your winner tonight here at Texas Motor Speedway. Charles Grant finishing in 2nd place. And Daniel Smallwood doing a little dance on pit road. Not sure what happened to him. He'll have to go back out and go around and park it on the front stretch. If you want to start getting our drivers lined up for our interviews,
he went through the grass. So I'm not sure what happened there.
All right. Well, the 52 and the 88 have found their way. All right. Let's go ahead and grab a hold of our third place finisher tonight. And that would be Daniel Smallwood. Daniel, you got a copy of this? Is Ron and Rachel in the booth.
Yeah, I got you, buddy. How are you?
Doing well. That was a pretty intense battle there at the end between you and the 52. Now, Rachel had said that that was possibly your teammate. Is that correct?
Yeah, he's my best friend.
Copy that. Well, you guys were putting on a pretty good show. Things kind of got a little bit spread out. We were watching you because we knew that that was the best battle on the track. Talk to me about those last few laps. And I thought we went to make sure that Thaxton crossed the finish line, and I wanted to catch your action through 3 and 4 on the last lap. But when we did the switch, you guys kind of made it through 3 or into 3, and just as we went back to you, I thought you may have went and touched the left rear of the 52 car.
Yeah, that last lap, the one in turn 1, I gave him a little bump just messing with him. I knew he wouldn't be too mad at me. We were just having fun with it. And down in 3, I don't think I really got into him. I think he reacted for me trying to dive it in there, and he just kind of went up the track, and I tried to stick it under him. But when he went up the track, I thought I touched him, so I broke because I'm not that type of person to just go out and wreck somebody. But it killed my momentum, so I didn't really have anything to go give it to him. But he's a good driver, and Thaxton drove a great race. He did great.
All right. Well, congratulations on a well-deserved third place finish tonight. Any sponsors, friends, shout-outs, anything you want to do?
I gotta give a shout out to y'all for the broadcast. Everybody puts this league on. Charles, running me clean, having fun with him. Thaxton, he's a good driver. I love racing with him. Got a lot of respect for him. He deserves it. Everybody out there watching, hope y'all enjoyed it.
All right. And that was your third place finisher, Daniel Smallwood, leading 16 laps tonight. Congratulations on third place. Next, we're going to bring up Mr. Charles Grant Jr., and we're going to have Rachel take this one.
Charles Grant, Rachel, and Ronald up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
All right. So congrats on a second place finish. How's it feel?
That car was extremely tight,
Well,
but it did feel good to run well.
definitely take us through that last 2 laps really between you and Smallwood. I mean, that was really the closest battle that we had on the track. You know.
Well, me and Smallwood figured we weren't catching Thaxton, so me and him decided to just brawl it out and see what happens.
Yeah, we did see where Smallwood kind of got into you, like on the left side of you. I mean, you pretty much just held it, or I mean, did he kind of knock you a little loose and you had to save it?
It was a little loose, but it wasn't too bad. It was actually, I don't know, it felt weird. I thought I was going to knock me loose. It really didn't that much. It just moved me up the hill. And then I was like, you ain't doing that to me, so I chopped him.
Well, it's a good thing he's your teammate, and you guys can just have fun with it. So, all right. Well, no, definitely congratulations on a second place finish. You have any shout outs, sponsors you want to thank?
I got to thank the league for putting this show on, and Daniel Smallwood for being my buddy, and I don't know, it's fun to come and run here every now and again.
Well, we'll definitely see you next week then.
2 weeks, but
Okay.
the Friday night race I'll probably be there.
All right. Well, definitely congrats again, and go celebrate your second place finish.
Thank you.
All right, and coming up into the booth is going to be the number 12 of Josh Thaxton, your winner tonight here at Texas Motor Speedway. How about it, Josh? You got a copy?
I got you guys.
All right, well, same story, different track, different winner. Last week, you were running second place to Cameron Hearn, who just kind of walked away from the entire field. And tonight, you come do it to the same drivers at Texas. How does that make you feel?
That makes me feel pretty good. I wish Cameron would have been up here. He got involved in an accident and got some damage, so it kind of hurt him a lot.
Yeah, we were really unsure of what happened. I saw him get the car loose, and then he went through the grass, and he hit the cone, but we didn't know if he got a penalty or not. I don't know if he had damage on the car or not. So it's kind of interesting to hear that from your perspective. But he definitely was looking quick. He had made his way back up after that early incident up to second place. Just got a little bit loose. The car looked like it got away from him. And from there on, I mean, you just checked out. You were gone.
Yeah, I had a pretty good pit stop. Well, unless I got on the pit road really well, which I think I babied it on there. Or at least Daniel had a problem because he was like 3 seconds behind me, and then he came out and he was over 5. Not too sure what happened to him there.
Well, that would make sense actually, because Daniel was in second when y'all were coming in, and it was actually Charles who came out second, and I don't know exactly what the gap was between the two of them, but maybe Daniel did have a little bit of problem, and that's why, because they both came out at the same time. So very impressive drive tonight, very impressive win. I'm gonna hand it over to Rachel for any questions that she may have to ask you.
All right.
Okay, so you're definitely known for, your strategies. So tonight, when it comes to like your pit strategy or like with your tires, I mean, for you to check out this much, were you like saving tires, or you were just pretty much just running as hard as you could, and then once you got past Smallwood and Grant, you just kind of let off a little bit?
No, I just ran a good race pace. Like, it's a pretty fast race pace, but you're not pushing it. And I just let them, if they wanted to pass me, I let them, and they got to run on me. I let them go, and I just tuck in behind them and let them come back to me and let them burn their stuff up. This track, you really have to drive the track on 1 and 2. You can't really race somebody. If you're on the outside of somebody, you're going to burn your tires up. So that's why I was just letting them go and tuck down behind them. It's not really worth it in the long run to try to race them there, unless it's like towards the end of the race.
All right. So, well, once again, congratulations on being in victory lane. Do you have any sponsors, shout outs that you want to do?
Thank you guys for broadcasting for the league for putting on the races in the season, and Water Graphics for being the sponsor of the league, for the series. I think it's the series. But thank everyone who participated. It was good racing tonight.
All right. So we'll see you next week.
Probably so.
All right. Well, you go celebrate your victory then.
All right. Thank you.
All right, your race winner tonight, Josh Thaxton, as you heard, didn't seem like it was much. I don't want to sound like that, but didn't seem like it was much of a challenge for him in the second part of the race there, Rachel.
Right. Like he mentioned, he was pretty much just running, consistently, and he's like, I'll let them burn their stuff up if they want to try and race me. So he was just able to figure out, how to run this track, consistently and be able to check out. And so that's what, made him end up in victory lane tonight. So.
Alrighty, folks. Well, here we go. We're going to run through the unofficial race results. Josh Thaxton walks away with the win here tonight at Texas Motor Speedway. Second place is going to go to, is going to go to Charles Grant Jr. Third place, Daniel Smallwood. Fourth, Anthony Giuliano. Fifth place, Brandon Murray. Sixth place, Aaron Hearn. Seventh was Leonard Frost. Eighth was Craig Goodenough. Ninth, Dylan Gonis. 10th, Kelly Butler managed to go ahead and cross the line there in 10th position, securing him a top 10 finish tonight. 11th was Cameron Hearn because of some pitting and whatnot. It didn't look, I guess he was able to finish 11th, even though some of those other guys were out on the track. Joseph Murata in 12th. 13th, Brandon Thornhill. 14th would have been Christian Converse. 15th was the number 18 of Travis Browder. 16th, Michael Jeans. 17th, Andrew Fezden. 18th, John Flamian. And 19th was John Wollum. That is all the drivers that took the checkered flag tonight. Thought it was a pretty good race, Rachel, overall. Maybe a couple too many cautions, but I mean, it's racing.
Right, like you mentioned, it's racing, and yeah, it was definitely different from what happened last week. Because I mean, last week they didn't have any cautions, and it was completely clean, green racing. But it happens, and also we did have a couple people that ran tonight that didn't run last week, so I'm sure that makes a difference as well.
Absolutely. Well, from all of us here at Extreme Sim TV, we appreciate you tuning in. You can watch plenty of races here at Extreme Sim TV. We got pretty much something going on every night. We'll be back here with LSRL on Friday night. Your host will be, just drew a blank, Johnny and Jonathan. So, anything you want to add before we end the broadcast tonight, Rachel?
Definitely tune in to LSRL on Friday, and then we will see you guys next week on Wednesday.
Yep, and next week we will be, got the schedule actually this time, next week we will be at Rockingham, so going to be a very interesting race next week. Hope to see you all next week when we go try to tame the Rock.